News.com. I'm Cassidy Hill here with Ryan Wood. Ryan, we are gathered here together today for this little thing called football. I tried to go with Prince and I just messed it all up. I'm sorry. That's what
really
you get.
There. Like looking at the box score, I'm like, what?
That's what you get for trying to quote Prince in Minneapolis and doing a bad job at it. But yes, we are here in Minneapolis at USA Bank Stadium. The Packers have just fallen 34-31 to the Vikings. They fall to 8-3 overall. Perhaps most importantly, they lose a game in the division. Overall, though, considering where they're sitting right now, just right off the bat, is this a horrible, horrible loss?
No. I mean, even losing a game in the division, it's 8-3 against 5-5. 3 games up with 6 games to go because it's a 17-game schedule. That's still playing tricks with my mind. But no, it's not a bad loss. Look, it's 34-31 at your rival's home field. The thing that I guess I take away from this is football is a fickle game. This league's a fickle league. I've said all week, if it's a close game, it'll probably be a close game. The team that makes the plays in close games to win is going to probably make the close plays in the game to win, and the team that loses close games, doesn't make the plays to win those games, it's probably not going to
That was like a tongue twister.
Yeah, and there you are. It was the opposite. The Packers had a chance with Darnell Savage's interception. That would have been the game-winning play. That was what you would expect all week. It happens the opposite. The Vikings get second life. They march down, kick the 29-yard field goal as time expires. What do we know, right? I mean, it's just the way the league works. It's why we love it.
Darnell Savage had 2 interceptions that could have changed the game. Both ended up getting overturned or called back because of
3, really? The one in the middle, the 2 that he didn't catch, and then the one that was called back. Yeah. As you said, he was the king of the almost interception.
Almost interception.
Yeah, that's Darnell Savage.
It is, and that's a tough place to be, especially for a guy who's been playing so well. But when it came down to it today, Justin Jefferson, good at football. That's basically my analysis. They couldn't really cover him. He did whatever he wanted to do. I think he had like 6 catches on 7 targets, and the one non-catch wasn't his fault because it was technically a throwaway. Over 100, close to 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Was there any stopping him today?
No, the Packers had no answer. It reminded me a little bit, it was a year ago in the opener that Davante Adams really established the foundation for his all-pro season with a franchise record-tying 14 catches. I forget how many yards. It was a lot. He had 2 touchdowns. It was a Don Hudson-type day for Davante Adams a year ago. And today, Justin Jefferson had that type of day. He was 7 yards from a career high for him. I mean, he's 25 games in his career. He's already a superstar in this league. He had 1,400 yards last year. Now he leaves today, again, with 6 games to go. He leads today with about that 944, so 56 from 1,000 in his second season. He is a superstar. What was surprising to me is that the Packers defense had done a really good job keeping superstars in check. A week ago, DK Metcalf, 3 catches, 26 yards. A couple weeks ago, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, neither of them went off in Kansas City. So I don't know that I saw this coming. Justin Jefferson's a stud, though. There's no question about it.
Yeah, so much so that, even Davante Adams after the game was sort of like, yeah, it's what he's been doing. It's what he's been doing. Was hoping he didn't do it today against us, but it's been par for the course for Justin Jefferson. On the other side of the ball, the offense, if you look just at the second half box score, it looks like they had a great day. But by then, it was almost a little too late. Is this offense without Aaron Jones built to come from behind like that? I mean, they almost did, so we'll give them that. Aaron Rodgers overcomes a lot, but were they ever going to be able to come back from that?
My takeaway for the offense, and I asked Davante Adams about this after the game, Aaron Rodgers has basically had 1 practice in a month, and that was a walkthrough. So he hasn't had, he hadn't, other than Friday, he hadn't really practiced in a month. When you think about the trajectory since he returned from COVID, really rusty, sluggish game against Seattle for 4 quarters. 2 of those quarters were like that today, and then this offense really heated up in the second half. When you don't practice, I don't care who you are, even Aaron Rodgers, even if you float on the field and not walk on it the way that he does, you need to practice. Yes, we're talking about practice, not a game practice, but you need to practice. And this is an offense that showed rust last week, showed rust through the first half of today's game. I think that they're going to be able to build on. They needed reps, and they've been getting their reps with snaps and not on the practice field.
Yeah, I think something is to be said that one of the best plays of the day was almost just like a prayer. You know, he was trying to call timeout. The ball was snapped before he was able to call timeout. He just sort of lofted it up there. And lucky for him, Davante Adams had gotten behind the defense. There seemed to be a breakdown in coverage. He was wide. You and I could have gotten down from the press box and covered him quicker than a DB could have gotten to him in the end zone. But it worked out for them. They now move forward to arguably probably one of their toughest games of the season. They welcome the Rams at home. The Rams coming off a bye week for that, and the Packers haven't had their bye week yet. Can they shake this loss off pretty quickly?
You know, through halftime, I thought that this looked like a really tired team, like Matt LaFleur said a week ago. They were sluggish. They were tired. The way they heated up on offense late in the game, I think it is more just the lack of practice time with the quarterback, which, again, no matter who you are, that affects things for the entire offensive operation. Defensively, though, they look tired. This is not something that we've seen from this defense in some time, which was on its heels, unable to make the play to get off the field. I thought Preston Smith had a good game. He had 2 sacks, needed to step up and did with Rashawn Gary out. Sort of that, not a lot of great stuff going on that side of the ball. So I think it's a really tired team. It's going to be a really interesting week. This is a team that needs to get to its bye as quick as possible.
I'm going to throw an audible at you. We didn't really say we were going to talk about this. It's hard to bring Kingsley Keke up because the only way he really showed up in the box score today was a pretty costly penalty. But this was his first game back since being in concussion protocol after the Arizona game. Did he look like he was just shaking off some rust to you, or did he look like he was okay?
Yeah, I thought that the entire defensive line played pretty well. You know, it's tough to say specifically without seeing the film tomorrow, but I remember thinking multiple times during the game, I cannot believe how well they're playing the run. Like, I've seen this Packers defense just get torn to shreds against Dalvin Cook on this field more than once. And that didn't happen today. Dalvin Cook had a fine game. I mean, he's Dalvin Cook after all. But they held their own against the run, and they've been doing that. So today was really about not being able to stop Justin Jefferson. That was the issue. From a run game, what was happening in the defense? Look, Kenny Clark, I shouted out Preston Smith. Kenny Clark put that offensive line on skates multiple times. It was impressive. So the defensive front, especially down Rashawn Gary, did all right.
Let's head over to Facebook to see if we have any questions. I am sure there will be.
Just a couple.
People are always really, 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 really talkative or don't want to talk at all after a game like this. Let's see what we got. Rich Lewin, we expected more Dillon runs. You and me both, Rich. I think at one point in the fourth quarter I looked and he had like 11 runs. We were thinking he would get closer to the 20 mark. What did he end with?
Yeah, he ended with 11 carries for 53 yards. So I thought it'd be about double that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same. I was thinking 20. I think what was my over-under on the podcast? 23?
Well, and here's the thing.
This is why I don't bet.
This is the thing. Dalvin Cook had 22 for 86. Pretty different. And if you just go on a per average, per carry basis, I mean, A.J. Dillon was getting more yards per opportunity, but he had half the carries of Dalvin Cook. This is an offense, I think, that needed to get more opportunities. And Matt LaFleur's done this in the past, and I'm sure he'd say it from this game. Didn't give enough opportunities to the run game today. And that's what you see with A.J. Dillon having 11 carries.
Levi asked, the Savage and the King play, the Savage play today, the King play last week looked the same. Why did Kings stand and Savages not? That's a question I actually saw a few other people ask on social media as well. Is that just home field advantage?
I can't remember the King play.
The interception in the end zone.
I didn't get a good enough look. I thought that was a pick. No, look, all I can say is from the Darnell Savage play, that wasn't a catch.
Right.
The ball hit the field. It's what happened. I don't know what else to say about it.
Antoine wants to know why didn't Coach call that timeout. Pete and I were talking about this. We were trying to do the math just in the moment. I feel like based on what down it was, even if he had called the timeout, Minnesota could have still come back, spiked the ball once more, and then kicked it with the 2 seconds left. Is that correct from what you remember? Yeah,
I know that at the end there they were trying to bleed the clock, and then it got really, really crazy, and you saw it go back and forth like a tennis match. So the thing is, when the Packers scored too soon. First, the Vikings scored too soon.
They did score.
And then the Packers scored too soon. I mean, one play, 75 yards, that's really impressive. It's a quick strike. You'll take it, right? I mean, you're not going to say, no, don't score. But that was really quick because then you have, 2 minutes left for the Vikings, and that was way too much time.
I think it was like 2:05 left because they were able to get a playoff before the 2-minute warning even. And so it was just, it was almost too quick. And it's almost one of those things you want to ask the guys about, like, did you mean to score that quick? But what are they going to say? Like, you always want to, if you can score, you do. So it's tough. But, when you're sitting up there watching the clock, it seemed really, really fast. Craig says this ruined his birthday. I'm sorry, Craig, but happy birthday anyways. I hope you find something else to lift your spirits.
Another reason for another round, Craig.
There you go. A couple of different people have asked, do you admit now that maybe Mason Crosby is a problem? It's hard to say that when he kicks a 50-plus yarder, but then he also missed what's essentially could be a chip shot. He doinks it. I mean, what do you think?
Second straight week, too. It's the second straight week that he's missed one where the operation looked good and a chip shot. What was it, like 32 yards? High up that left upright right there. And the way he looked at it was like, you've got, it's an extra point. It's less than an extra point. You've got to be kidding me, was the look that he gave. He has 8 missed kicks now, the most since that disastrous 2012 season that every Packers fan remembers. It's a problem. It's a problem. I don't know if they're going to do that. I've been saying it for a couple weeks now. I don't see them getting it right this season. It's too far gone. I don't see it. I could be wrong, but I'll be proven wrong if I'm wrong because I don't see them getting that right. It is a mess of an operation.
And look, there's a lot of different things that you could say went into today, but when this continues to be a problem with the field goal unit, it's easy to sit here and look at the scoreboard and go, you lost by a field goal and you missed a field goal.
Yeah, what was the score, right? 3 points. 3 points. Right there.
That's essentially 2 games in the past 3 weeks that you could put a swing on the special teams.
Yeah, the first game you covered on this beat, Kansas City, 13-7, 2 missed field goals. Now, my math's really bad. That's why I write for a living, but that's 6 points. That's your difference.
Dale asked if there are any injury updates, and then, Slowpoke, that's a great name, asked as well if injury updates have been addressed with Jenkins. To quote Matt LaFleur, no.
No update today. I tried to get something out of him. I asked if he'd been able to talk with Elton, if he could rule out something significant, which in our lingo is season ending, and he could not rule it out. He said no updates today, and he said that he'll update us tomorrow, so we will ask tomorrow.
Someone else said, just need a little more pass rush, and then we got a question as well. How big was it missing Rashawn Gary today, and will he be back next week, or do they play it safe and wait till after the bye? I feel like the pass rush was decent without him, but when you're going up against that Rams offense, I feel like you want him out there if you can get him, right? Oh,
yeah, you always want him out there. It was not nothing. He's probably their best pass rusher right now, right? So it was significant, and yet Preston Smith really stepped up. The defensive front was not a problem. I thought they mitigated how much they missed Rashawn Gary. Not that they didn't, because of course they did, but it wasn't as much as maybe I expected. It wasn't as much as it could have been. The issue was on the back end.
I really thought after that first drive that it was going to set the tone for the day. They tackled Dalvin Cook for a loss on the very first play. That drive ended when they sacked Kirk Cousins for a 10-yard loss. I think Preston Smith is who sacked him. And so I thought, they've set the tone for the day. They're going to do it again. And then Justin Jefferson happened. It's hard to overcome that. I don't think we have any more questions, so we will sign off. I know we have a few more pieces coming for you tonight, so make sure to stick to PackersNews.com for full coverage as we recap the Packers' loss to the Minnesota Vikings and get ready for the Los Angeles Rams. For Ryan